Trina, and this is my September wrap-up. I'm going to start out by mentioning a couple of BookTube channels that I've really been enjoying this month, and the first of those is going to be Kirsty from Melbourne on My Mind. I kind of have known Kirsty through her contributions to the Snark Squad blog and a vlog channel, but I did actually realize that she had her own BookTube channel, and I did discover that this month, and I really enjoyed her video that was how she reads so much, because she has read like 300 books this year already. So if you like channels that read a ton of books and read a really great variety, I would highly recommend to check out Melbourne on My Mind. And also I found a new booktuber, brand new baby booktuber, just this past week, and that is Karen from A Simple Cup of Tea. And I think she's only got like one video up right now, but I was really charmed by that one single video. I'm definitely looking forward to more from her channel, and if you are looking for a brand new booktuber to follow, I would definitely recommend her, and there are links to both of their channels down below. Moving into the book section, let's check in with how I did on this month's planned TBR list. I read 4 books that I was hoping to read this month. I did complete 7 books total this month, and this is the rundown of my ratings. I'm going to start, like always, from the lowest rated book and move up to my highest rated book of the month. So first up, I've got The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is a historical fantasy retelling of Arabian Nights. In this story, we have an evil king who is marrying a new girl every day and murdering her that night. So our main character, Shahrazad, her best friend, was the last bride, so she has been killed. And Shahrazad decides she's going to volunteer to be the next bride so that she can get into the palace and murder the king to seek revenge. You may remember that I considered this book to be a DNF last month because I couldn't finish it in August, and I really wasn't that interested in finishing it then, but this month in September it was just really weighing on my mind, and I wanted to see if maybe the end would kind of turn around my opinion. Maybe the end would be worth it, because sometimes that does happen. So this month what I did, instead of reading the rest of the book, I actually listened to it on audiobook, and I ended up rating this book 2 stars. And my main problem with the story within this book was just that it didn't deviate enough from the original tale of 1001 Nights. The things that really spice up the plot of this story don't really happen until around halfway in, and for me it was too little too late, and the things that were happening were just too reminiscent of a lot of other books I've read, so it just didn't wow me. But I do really respect that this is a diverse tale. I loved the Middle Eastern setting, and that it is a retelling of something that hasn't been done to death, like say Beauty and the Beast. I don't absolutely hate it, but unfortunately it just wasn't really the story for me, and I do have a full review up if you want to hear more of my thoughts on The Wrath and the Dawn. Next, with my 3-star rated books, I've got The Summer of Chasing Mermaids by Sarah Ackler. This is a contemporary retelling of The Little Mermaid. This story follows our main character, who is a very talented singer, and then she gets into a boating accident and she almost drowns, and it causes her to lose her voice. Her vocal cords are messed up, so not only can she not sing anymore, she can't even speak. So basically all of her dreams are crushed, and she leaves home to go stay with her aunt in coastal Oregon. And of course, being a Little Mermaid retelling, there is a bet involved. Can you complete a task? And it's to win a boat race. And my thoughts on this book are that there were a lot of references to the Little Mermaid Disney film in this book that were really fun to kind of catch on to and point out, and I really enjoyed the romance in this story. Another really great thing about this book is that it does feature a diverse main character. She is from the island Tobago, so a lot of times she will compare how things are like in America compared to back home, and so you get a lot of her culture thrown in there. I also really loved reading it from the point of view of a mute protagonist. That was a very unique experience, and I also really loved the setting of this book. It was so atmospheric. I really felt like I was right there in this really small coastal town with the characters, so there was a lot to enjoy about this book. But again, there was just something about it that just kind of bored me. It was a lot of repetitive scenes that didn't really progress the story. Like at the beginning, they enter into the bet to win the boat race, and then it's a 400-page book, so you've got about 300 pages of, today we clean the boat, tomorrow we cleaned the boat again, the next day we're still cleaning the boat. A lot of preparing for this big thing that the entire plot basically hinges on, and it just didn't get there quick enough for me. So that's why I gave it kind of a mid-range rating. I liked the idea, I liked the characters in the setting, but the plot felt a little bit dragged out. Also at 3 stars, I've got a comic bind-up. It's Alex and Ada Volume 1 by Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughn. This is a futuristic sci-fi comic about a guy who gets a very realistic android. She's basically a this service bot, and he starts delving into the idea of, can I make her more human? Can I give her free will? It is a very slow story. It's one of those just really quiet kind of stories, but there's a lot of ethical discussion there, so I really enjoyed that. I just really liked the topic. I found the art to be a little bit boring. A lot of frames were just repeated, and it was always like straight on angles. But I really enjoyed the topic in this story, so I will be continuing this series. Next, I have the last 3 books in the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepard. I'm going to talk about them all together, even though they do have different ratings. Book 14 is Deadly, which I gave 4 stars. Book 15 is Toxic, which I gave 3 stars. And the final book, book 16, is Vicious, which I also gave 3 stars. The overall plot of the series, if you don't know, is we follow 4 main characters, 4 girls whose other best friend went missing, and at the first book they start receiving text messages from somebody claiming to be their missing best friend, and that person is threatening to reveal all of their secrets unless they do certain things that the stalker is telling them to do. I do plan to have a full series review up sometime soon, so if you have any questions for me about the Pretty Little Liars book series, please leave them down below. But like I said, I gave them 4 stars, 3 and 3, and the reason that I liked Deadly the best of the final 3 is because there was a big reveal in this book, and I thought that it was actually a shock to me. Like, I hadn't seen that done before. I thought it was really interesting, and that was really when we started getting answers. And then the next book, Toxic, just felt like a lot of filler between this reveal and then the finale. And Vicious, I'm satisfied with knowing how everything ended up and what the truth behind everything was. But in my opinion, the pacing of the finale was just kind of off. Like, not enough was revealed soon enough. It was only like the last 10% that we really got answers. I feel like I was really spoiled on Sarah Shepard's other series, The Lying Game, because that finale, it was paced so well, and I guess I was kind of expecting the same thing. So although I felt fulfilled by the actual ending, it just was like not enough falling action for me, because we've spent 16 to 18 books with these characters. I would have liked a little bit more resolution. And lastly, my favorite read of the month was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and this is book number 4 in the Throne of Glass series. This is a YA fantasy series, and the premise of this series, like back in book 1, was that we have this really lethal, feared assassin named Selena who is in jail currently at the beginning of the series, and she's given an opportunity that she can come to the palace and compete to be the king's assassin, and if she does win, she will win her freedom. I have to say that that is totally not what this series is about. It's not about a competition. The first book is worlds apart from book 4. Like, where the series has gone, it has become such a full fantasy world. There are dragons, witches, fairies, demons. There's a clan of assassins. There's a rebellion in the city. There's an evil king. There's a handsome prince. All kinds of stuff is really working in this series, and I love this series. It is one of my favorite series. I gave this book 5 stars. I didn't have any problems with this book. I have seen a lot of reviews that point out things that they view as flawed, but I did not view them as flaws. I just really enjoyed this book. I have a full review and discussion up if you want to hear more of my thoughts on Queen of Shadows. But definitely my favorite read of the month. I would probably put this in the maybe top 5 of the year. So these are the 7 books I read in September. Oh, look at that. So these are the 7 books I read in September and my reviews and what I thought on them. If you have any questions about any of these books that I did not cover in this wrap up, please let me know down below and I will answer you there. If you've read any of these, let me know what you thought about them and let me know what your favorite read of the month was. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!